If your own brother called you just lucky in front of the entire family after you built the company from nothing, and the next day he discovered you actually owned it all, what would you do? Let me tell you what I did. My name is James, and this is my story. 12 years ago, I was 24 years old. My father, Richard, owned a small construction supply shop. Monthly revenue barely hit $15,000. My brother Marcus, 7 years older than me, had just graduated with a management degree. Dad immediately made him assistant director. Me? I was just the helper kid. No official title, no respect. But I had a plan. I didn't know yet that this plan would completely change my life and wipe the smug smile off my brother's face forever. Every night after everyone went home, I stayed at the shop. I taught myself modern business through online courses, digital marketing, supply chain optimization, customer relationship systems, business analytics. Within 3 months, I launched an Instagram page and gained 5,000 followers. I created professional presentations to pitch to major construction companies. I reorganized our entire delivery system. The result? In 6 months, revenue tripled. Dad was shocked. Marcus? He called me the lucky kid. But my real work hadn't even started yet, and I had no idea just how much my brother truly looked down on me. Over the next 5 years, I transformed everything. Year 1, I turned the shop into a modern construction center. Revenue hit $500,000. Year 2, I opened a second location and built an online sales platform, $2 million in revenue. Year 3, I created a network across 4 cities, $8 million. Year 4, I launched an import-export division, $25 million. Year 5, we became the largest supplier in the region, $50 million in annual revenue. Who did all this work? Me, James. What did Marcus do? As assistant director, he drank coffee in the office, attended meetings, bragged about the company on Instagram, and talked about his management degree. But here's the thing. Dad never gave me an official position because every time I asked, Marcus would say, "He's still too young, Dad." And I waited. I waited patiently until that one day came. Year 6, the company was generating $65 million in revenue. I flew to Dubai to negotiate a new contract. 3 weeks of sleepless nights and intense meetings. The result? A $15 million deal. When I returned home, there was a celebration at the office. "What's going on?" I asked. Marcus stood there, whiskey glass in hand, laughing. He looked at me and said, "James, you still don't understand. Running a business is a science. It's my management skills that made this company successful. You just got lucky. Know your place." 50 people in that office, not one spoke up. Dad said nothing. That night, I went home and made a decision. And the next day, I sent one email. Just one email, but it changed everything. You see, I never told anyone, but 6 years earlier, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Dad owed $200,000. I used $50,000 from my personal savings. I borrowed $80,000 from friends. I took out a $70,000 loan against my apartment. $200,000 total to save the company. But I never told Marcus where that money came from, and I made a secret agreement with Dad. A contract. If the company reached $50 million, I would own 51% of the shares. Everything was documented, signed, notarized. Only Dad and I knew. Now the company was worth $80 million, and I sent that email to the legal department, accounting, and all senior managers. Subject line: updated shareholder registry. The next day, Marcus's face when he found out, you should have seen it. The next morning, board meeting. Marcus sat in his chair, playing on his phone like always. I walked in with my lawyer and the notary. "Let's begin the meeting," I said. Marcus laughed. "James, this isn't for workers. Get out." I placed the documents in front of the notary. "As of today, I, James Richardson, am the majority shareholder of this company with 51% ownership. Additionally, my father has appointed me as chief executive officer." Marcus's face went pale. This is a lie," he screamed. The lawyer presented the documents. The 6-year-old contract, notarized confirmation, Dad's signature, bank transfer records, all the proof. Marcus looked at Dad. "Dad, tell me this isn't true." Dad slowly shook his head. "I'm sorry, son, but James earned this. You only bragged." The room fell silent, but the most interesting part hadn't even started yet. I looked at Marcus calmly and said, "Marcus, you called me just a worker. You called me the lucky kid. Okay, let's test that theory. Starting today, you are a junior marketing manager. Your salary is market rate, $2,000 a month. No benefits, no bonuses, no special treatment. You prove your worth through results. If you can't show performance in 6 months, I'll fire you, just like any other employee." Marcus was shaking with rage. You have no right." I smiled. 51% says I have every right." The room stayed silent. Everyone stared. Nobody moved. 3 months passed. Marcus came to work late every day. His performance numbers barely hit 20% of target. Customers complained constantly. I never once told him to speed up or work harder. I only required weekly performance reports. Just data, just facts. At month 5, Dad came to me and begged, "Dad, can't you find Marcus an easier position, something he can handle?" I answered, "Dad, he told me business is a science. He said he had management skills. I'm just giving him the opportunity to prove it." At month 6, Marcus resigned on his own. As he was leaving, he said to me, "You got your revenge." I looked him in the eye and replied, "No, Marcus, I didn't get revenge. I established respect. There's a difference." Today, the company is valued at $120 million. I still work 70 hours a week. Marcus? He started a small business in another city. Sometimes he calls to apologize. I forgave him, but I never forgot. Here's the lesson from this story. Never let anyone look down on you. But revenge doesn't need noise. It doesn't need drama. It just needs patience, documentation, and the right moment. Because the sweetest victory isn't shouting, "I told you so." It's watching them realize it themselves. If respect matters to you, hit that like button, subscribe for the next story, and comment your thoughts below. Because some of us didn't get lucky. Some of us earned every single thing we have.